Hello! Giggles to start us off. Welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Machine for the final trip to PGL. For now, Vedius and Odoamne joining us in, the rogue top laner who was playing a bit of a Vedius pocket pick as well.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Odoamne, I have to say, I am impressed with your nocturne mechanics. There are not many.
Got a Vedius stamp of approval.
But, oh, it really does. Like, the level 2 gank where you waited because you knew the only way you die was from Q. Just, I'm very impressed. But what happened to lethal tempo? Why have you swapped? Why have you converted?
I mean, I think the problem with lethal tempo is that it's scaling kind of bad because I realized that it gives me like a big early game spike, but I feel like once people just buy like Ninja Tabi or Bramble, then I start falling off really bad, and I stop losing extended trades just because I don't have extra AD and I don't have like healing anymore. So, I mean, there's maybe some matchups where I'm playing against some squishy stuff that I can go lethal tempo and just look to one-shot them at 6 with like Ignite and ult, but as for like most of the time, I feel like Conqueror is just scaling a bit better. And right now people don't int versus Nocturne anymore, so.
That's true, that is true. But I did notice that you got a lot of jungle attention this game. That must have been a surprise to you. How did you feel in the early game?
Nah, I mean, okay, listen, this is how it went. So I had the Dynamite triplets on bot lane just inting to the TP and all dying.
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay, guys, well, we kind of need to give time for Larsen and Hans to kind of catch up and be back in the game. And I'm like, well, they're just kind of 3-manning me 24/7. So I'm like, guys, can I get some help, or are we just ditching it? And I was like, and for once the team said, okay, fine, we can help you defend you. Everyone else still farm, but Trimby and Inspired, the bros are coming. And I'm like, okay, well, and Camille was kind of inting every single play they were doing on top side, so it kind of made it easy because they were just, I guess, not expecting us to defend their like plays. So I don't know. I mean, my job with this game was kind of just soak up some pressure and give some time for Hans and Larsen to kind of get back into the game, because after the TP play on bot, everything kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was going so back and forth. Trimby gave us some insight, but I'd like to hear your take just on the game as a whole. I mean, he said he didn't know we'd won it until you'd won it. It did feel like the game state and the potential winner kept flip-flopping between. Did it feel that way for you, or did you have that degree of confidence?
I mean, the game kind of slowed down after we got, I think, Ocean Soul. I think we made a mistake with our Baron setup because we ignored one mid-wave too much, and that's when I felt like that we might not be winning the game so hard anymore, because all objectives were off the map for like 3.5 minutes, so that just kind of gives Akali time to scale and for everyone else to just buy healing reduction and all of that. Because I felt like if we would have used the first Baron we got properly, the game would have ended really, really fast, because they were not really on power spikes to contest us at all. So after that, it became a bit more tense, you know, then it kind of became a 50-50 on how we set up the map and stuff and playing to our win condition. Yeah,
and does having a blossoming rivalry and a team like Mad Lions to push you further and further and to have something to play for outside of the W in the column, has that pushed you and motivated you to push your understanding of the game further?
In a sense, yeah, because after we lost to Mad Lions, it kind of became very obvious the mistakes we've had throughout the whole of Spring Split kind of surfaced into the final, and it was kind of a compilation of all the mistakes that we've been doing throughout the Spring Split, and that's the reason we lost. So in a way, us losing that finals kind of pushed us to kind of go on full alert mode and force us to fix all our mistakes for Summer Split, because there might have been a risk that we become like complacent. You know, if we win that finals, we're like, okay, we're the best, and it wouldn't push us to improve as much as losing against them. But I think our rivalry against Mad Lions is definitely healthy for the scene, because it's always been G2 Fnatic, and now that it's Rogue Mad Lions, it's definitely a big plus for the narrative gang, because Vedius and his homies really love those narratives, and I feel like now Twitch chat and everyone else gets a fresh gasp of air whenever they hear narratives, because they're like new, fresh narratives, I guess.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's bang on the money. I just want to say one thing.
Mad, you guys got a song. Okay, it wasn't about G2 Fnatic this time. You know what I mean? So like, it's a bright future.
But
for
imagine,
you guys.
okay, let me cut you off there. Like, imagine last year you did this whole song about G2 Fnatic, and if you would have done another song this year about G2 Fnatic, everyone would have cringed really hard with you. So I'm kind of making your job easier for you. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, so you're the savior right now, Odo. You are.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, right? That makes a lot of sense.
He's saving the entire narrative of the LEC.
No, so you don't know Odo super well, right? But
I mean, I've met him.
Right, but he is a golden oldie. You know, he's
a natural blonde,
stubborn. Remind me, Odo, how are those Kia votes going?
The Kia votes, great. I mean, it's kind of the same story, you know, weak side machine, just chilling. Everyone thinks that I didn't do a lot. But this game, you guys don't understand how much I did this game because I
do understand. It's my job to understand.
Maybe the viewers don't, Vedius, so shut up and let him explain.
Like, okay, this game, I should have 100% got MVP. I mean, who cares that Trimby got 4-man ult and won the game at Elder? But the thing is, I give Inspired so many opportunities to carry, and he kind of missed half of them because I tank level 2 gank. He messes up his pathing after. He's not contesting red buff, our red buff, after I stop Lee Sin and I put the pink and I waste like 40 seconds of his time. He's just going to bot lane and I'm just chilling on my island and letting Inspired and the whole gank farm. So yeah, I mean, everyone's just ungrateful, but that's just life. That's just the life of Grandpa in the top lane.
I'll give you a compliment, right? So in the final team fight, right, it was the bot river, right? So I remember the Akali TP, because the Akali's dead, right? You kill Akali bot lane just before he can get death cap, right? And then he TPs back, and then you ult. So your ult actually stops Humanoid from doing absolutely anything in that fight. And you turn that fight, your ult alone turns that fight into, I think it was a 5v4, it may have even been a 3v5. So like, I remember watching Akali in that fight do absolutely nothing and walk around just because of your beautiful ult timing. So there's your praise.
Like, imagine I have all this power at the press of a finger, and Twitch chat doesn't, or like the people don't appreciate how talented I am for pressing that button.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because I could misclick, I could press flash instead.
It's true.
I mean, there's so many buttons on a keyboard, and it has to be the right button at the right time. So
yeah, exactly.
I understand it. We're same wavelength there.
So Odo, clearly the greatest player in Europe.
Long story short.
It's hard to really see his value because there are too many, I believe French fans is what you said last time, right, Odoamne?
Yes, I'm getting sabotaged by the baguettes.
Right, right.
It's all those damn French. Well, I mean, speaking of, now would be a good time. Why don't we bring up those standings, just because we have wrapped up the first half of the regular season. And at the top, we do have Rogue and Misfits Gaming. You can see they're joint now 7 wins, 2 losses, closing that gap nicely, Odo. Behind them, though, there is an exciting race for the playoff spots with Astralis, G2, the aforementioned Frenchies, Vitality, and Excel, all tied at 4 wins. So, okay, Odo, we've been talking about it. I'd love to hear an alternative perspective. Seeing G2 right there at the mid-table, some people are saying it's alarm bells, others are saying it's always been like this for G2, slow starts, etc. For you personally, do you feel like the G2 of old are going to just walk in on week 5, week 6, and everything will be as normal, or is there genuine problems in the G2 camp from your scrims and your games against them?
I mean, it's quite alarming because it's a new version of G2. I feel like the fact that Perks was there kind of was this safety net for them, that they're always going to bounce back and come playoffs, they're going to be really insane. But right now, since there's like a whole different team dynamic with Reckless coming in, I feel like it's the time when, as a fan, I would start getting worried, you know, because they're on like 4-game losing streak. I think, I'm not sure if they were hard stomping today, but that's what I heard, that they were supposed to win the game today. And maybe it would have been like a nice comeback for them to kind of start to go on a win streak. But I mean, this is the whole thing, because ever since spring playoffs, people are kind of saying that they might be falling off now, and they kind of they start losing out their edge that they had, because they are always this individual focused, super dominant team where everyone was like outplaying left and right. But now it feels like they kind of lost some of that vibe, and that might be potentially due to teams being a lot better individually and also in terms of team play. So I'm a bit worried, because going on like a big losing streak, especially with a team such as G2, I feel like it might not be so great for their morale, you know. And when you're in positions like that, it's really easy to kind of let everything go downhill, you know. So now it's kind of like the make or break moment for them to kind of get back on track.
So what I find really interesting about that, Odo, is you can probably speak better than most people, because this time last year was when you were 1-8 with Schalke. And I'm pretty sure we were talking to you around now, where you just got your first win, and we were discussing that whole concept or idea of even a possible miracle run, and then you made it. And back then, G2 was even sitting at 5-4, somewhere in the middle of the table, tied with like Fnatic and Origin, and I think it was Rogue and Mad that were sitting at the top of the standings. So, like, when you think about reaching this halfway point, and like you can maybe give some insight on like what you were like last year. Does the second half change things? Because the rematches start happening now, right? Like, the patch is a little bit more well understood. Teams have a better feel now that they've been playing for 4 weeks of what they want to do. Like, do you believe G2 can turn it around?
I mean, definitely, because I feel like there's always this thing that is happening in, at least in EU, or like historically, there's always a civil war starting in like each of the team at some point during the split, where you hit this wall, and then you start having team dramas and stuff where people feel like they're not functioning well, or they can't play well with each other and stuff like this. And I truly believe that each team kind of has a period of time where they're like hitting this one. And for example, I think there was this Misfits roster 2 years ago where they were like 10-1 or something, or like, I don't know, 8-1, something like that on the first half, and then they missed playoffs. And that's the thing where you can just start out really, really strong, and then civil war happens, and then you start ending and losing all of your games. But I mean, it's really hard. I mean, at the same time, it's just individual games that you just kept losing in really unlucky ways, and all you have to do is just reset mentally and kind of take it one game at a time. At least that's what we did in Schalke, because in the big picture, when we were even worse. We were 1-10 at one point, and after that, you just hope to win your next game, and you try to keep morale up, because when you're so deep into the hole, you're like, yeah, you have nothing to lose. You can just go 1-17, or you try to pick up some more games. I mean, it's depressing for everyone, and you're obviously not good, but what's the alternative, you know? But I feel like for G2, it's a different story. Like their standings are not so bad. They're like 4-5, yeah, sucks. They're middle of the pack. But the more annoying part is that they have like a big lose streak, and that's kind of like the thing that would affect my mental at least more than, you know, the standings themselves. Because if you go 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, and then you're 4-5, it's a lot different than just going 4-1 and then you lose 4 in a row, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and I think in that vein of mental, you know, it's easier said than it is done, right? When you say reset your mental, you know, when you as you did with Schalke, and as every team, in fact, G2 may be focusing on doing so now. My question is, you know, it's so easy to say, but how on earth do you do it? Like, you're living with these people, you're around them every day. It's not like you can just walk away and say, I'm taking a 2-week holiday, boys, just going to reset the mental, peace, off to a beach somewhere. So how the bloody hell are you supposed to do it?
I mean, see, that's why I wouldn't be concerned if they have Perks, because Perks is such a big leader figure.
Interesting.
At least that's how I perceive him. And I feel like, I mean, not to kind of brag about myself, but I feel like I've always been kind of like a leader figure. And in Schalke, I was kind of a leader figure, or at least that's how my teammates perceived me. So it's really easy or like not really easy. It's still hard, you know, but if you have someone that is really, really trying hard to inspire others to kind of like, it's fine, we can still do it, just take it one game at a time, and then you kind of motivate people or like lead by example, then it can happen, you know. But that's the thing with Perks leaving G2, I am not sure if I view any of the like 5 current players as this like guy who wants to take responsibility and be in charge of like, you know, doing more than he needs to do to kind of fix the ship, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a burden of responsibility, and it's not one that's often, you know, often it's taken, as Odo implies, without a direct call for it. It's not something, it's not like a call to action. You just kind of find yourself in that role naturally, and if there isn't one, then it could be harder to climb out of that hole. A really insightful answer.
Yeah, it's super insightful. It's like, I think back on many rosters actually, and like in some ways, I think of many veteran players. Like, I mean, you played with Vander. Vander's one that I kind of like. I don't have a great relationship with him, but to me, he's always seemed like that rock, someone that you could always kind of rely on. In a way, I kind of thought Gilius was that just because of his unbridled confidence that was never shaken. But I think that there are a lot of players that you kind of look at to be that figure.
And I think that especially when building teams, it's very, very successful in Counter-Strike right now, and it looks like it's happening in League of Legends, where you have that perfect blend of like experienced veterans and super hot rookies, and you just mix them together where you've got the life lessons and the shit losses, you know, all those lessons you've learned over all those harrowing losses in games and years, and you've got the spicy young boys, and you mix them together and you get a perfect mix. Does that sound about right, Odo? Is that the recipe for success in modern day League of Legends?
In a way, yeah, because but the thing is, there's also like veterans who, like, for example, you look at Mickey. Mickey has been in the scene for like a really long time, or like Reckless and Wonder and Jankos and everyone. And you can still be like a veteran, you know, but just not have that like sort of charisma or like leadership ability. Because the thing is, when you start losing, you're so depressed that you're just sitting on the couch like this, and you're like, you don't want to talk, you don't want to say like what's bothering you or what you feel is going wrong. You're just sitting like this. And you're kind of just letting your emotions sit there, you know, and just let everyone know how upset you are, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for like people to kind of step, because that's the time when like leaders need to like step up. And I mean, kind of what you said. I feel like it's important that every team has this leader figure. And as you said, Vedius, I think in Misfits you have someone like Vander, who I've worked with as well, and I felt like he was like a big voice in the room, and he was kind of able to fulfill this role. And yeah, I think a lot of teams would benefit from having someone like this. But at the same time, you also have rookies that are just naturally adept at being leaders. Because, for example, I feel like Inspired, you would say that he's a rookie, but at the same time, he's just so full of confidence, and he's also quite smart about the game. So it's easy for him to kind of give a direction to everyone, you know, in terms of like gameplay, but maybe not in terms of like, you know, motivating people and having like their emotions in check and stuff like this.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, and we do have to move on, but I have one final question on this one, just because it's so interesting to me. Do you think that voice, that now we've outlined that it's necessary and useful for fixing your mental and for dealing with the politics of the players, can that voice come from outside of the five in terms of like coaching or managerial staff, or do you believe it is, you know, only going to be super effective when they're within the core five and playing the games with the players themselves?
I mean, it definitely helps if there's someone even in the coaching staff that can do it. But the thing is, when it's like when you're with the boys in the dirt, and one of the, like you guys are all in it together, and you're like in a big pile of dirt, and everything is bad, and then one of the boys steps up and like makes like a, it's gonna be really poetic, but makes like a rallying charge or whatever.
Yeah,
everyone's
like the
gonna follow, you know.
Spartans.
Yeah, but imagine you have the officer in the back, and he's like, "Come on, plebs, come on, push harder," and then no one's gonna care, you know. In a way, it's like that sense of unity only comes from like the gang of the boys, you know.
I thought so. That's really interesting. I'm glad to hear that from you.
It's so interesting coming from Odo as well, because like I've seen Odo's career for many years. I mean, I came casting like halfway through his career, but I remember some of the days where Odo would interview and he was just at the bottom, and he would even say in interviews, "I'm at the bottom of the hole," and like
I'm down bad.
I'm just, there's like, it's hard to see the light right now, but I'm gonna keep going, and he keeps going. He's still here. And, like, he made his first final last split, and like, you
Let's
know,
go, bro.
I cannot. This person is the best person to give us this insight. So thank you so much, Odo.
Yeah,
this
really,
is like
really
super
cool.
good.
And speaking of, it's actually Odo's favorite part of the show in our Kia Player of the Game leaderboard. We're going to check in. We've got Nuclear Int in his first, followed by VTO and Inspired as well. You gave Inspired some credit, so at least...
That's a lot of Inspired there, Odo. That's interesting.
I mean, of course, he's just kind of taking wins off of my back, but that's just life.
If players are tied, whoever has the highest percentage of votes comes out on top, so do cast your vote. And of course, we're asking who on earth is the mid-season MVP. We had the candidates up earlier, and myself, Vedius, and Ender were talking it through. I don't know, who do you kind of land on as your current frontrunner?
Well, so
So?
I was actually very much on the... for me, Hans Sommer is a big one, a big candidate. But Humanoid is another one for me, which might seem a little weird, especially after like people look at his scoreline today. But I don't know. I think that those two players in particular, and like Odoamne is going to flame Hans Sommer, which is fine. So we'll get to him second. But Humanoid to me, I feel has just had a very, very good split in terms of his consistency, in terms of his playmaking, and just like his overall level of play. Like today, it was his flank behind them that actually brought them back into the game against Rogue and got the Elder Drake, right?
Sure.
And like, it's creative plays like that where you can really feel his impact in a lot of games. And so for me, like, especially when I look at how mid laners have performed this split, he's just kind of gone above and beyond. So for me, he's stood out. And Hans Summer is a big one, but I'm going to let Odoamne talk a little bit about his thoughts on Hans Summer and what he thinks about his performance this split.
I mean, I think Hans is incredible this split. I think he's playing a lot better than Spring. And for me, he would probably be the mid-season MVP just because, I mean, it's hard because Inspired is also really, really good.
Yeah.
But I feel like Hans is kind of even like a level above what he's been showing in Spring Split, you know, and it's like really impressive to see. I feel like it's just, he's so consistent at getting leads, and I feel like he's like a big step above every ADC and LEC, so I feel like he just deserves it by a significant margin. Yeah,
I think it's very fair. And
it's so cool.
We gave him a lot of praise at the start too, and like it just the fact that he says that he's playing better than Spring, like a part of me felt it, but it was always hesitant to say it. So I'm actually a huge fan that Odo could just straight up say that, because like, yeah, you can see it. Like he really is, and he was already very good in Spring.
But when we're saying best, like this, okay, can we just put on our we all acknowledge Machine's a bit of a noob at League of Legends hats for a second? So if Hans is the best at in LEC, Odo, who's like is he full, like, are we talking in the list, in the conversation of global AD carries, or is there still a huge gap across the ocean?
I mean, I'm not sure because I'm not paying a lot of attention at all the other ADCs in like China and
LCK.
and Korea. Yeah. But I feel like for at least for NA and EU, it's not even close.
That's how
you notice I start laughing when I bring up NA, you know, because it's kind of a joke. But yeah, so I feel like when you say he's the best in EU, it's automatically the best in the West.
Yeah,
so
the best in the West sounds pretty.
But for sure, globally, I think his performance on like a global level would be really good.
Yeah, respectable. Awesome. And that's just good insight for me just to remember for next time. Either way, let's bring up that schedule, because next Friday, we're starting the second and deciding half of the regular season. And a reminder for you guys as well, the players are coming back to the studio, face-to-face, Odo and Vedi, talking. Games 1, 3, and 5, though. That's how it's going to be working out. So we'll be taking extra breaks just to make sure all of the procedures can take place. And these are your scheduled games for Week 5, Day 1. I'm just having a quick glance across it.
So Day 1, Odo.
We get Rogue Misfits right out of the gate.
Yeah. That unfortunately won't be on stage because it is Game 4. So hopefully Day 2.
Wow, way to take the wind out of my sail.
Yeah, I know. But we will see a return of some of our players for sure, and that's definitely going to be an exciting one. Odo, to kind of like round things out, do you think Rogue is the best team in the LEC right now?
I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to say a yes or no, because I feel like we still have a lot of things to work on. I still feel like even though we won against Matt today, I mean, our games look a lot cleaner than the weeks before, and I feel like our objective setup is getting a bit better, because since we like to play most of these like execution comps where we play around soul and stuff, we still have some growing pains that we need to grow through. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the results kind of speak for themselves. I think we're at least top 2, I would say. I'm not sure who else would rival us, but I would say that I don't want to get my teammates cocky, but I do think we're the best in the LEC right now.
Absolutely, and I'm actually just going to reframe that, because I think I might get a better answer out of you, which is, aside from Mad Lions, who is the second biggest threat to you in your LEC run for the top of the table?
I mean, surprisingly, Misfits is doing pretty well, but at the same time, I thought that they should have lost today against G2.
Yeah.
Fnatic is I think overperforming, at least compared to my expectations of what I had from them at the beginning of the split. So I feel like there's still like room for Fnatic to show how good they are. So if I had to choose one, it would still be Misfits, I think.
Damn.
But
oh, wow.
It might just have been one of those Cinderella stories that start really good and end up crashing. But I guess we'll get to see. Yeah,
answers coming up on Friday, of course, Week 5 just around the corner. That's it from me. I'm off to go and shout about the shooty game for now, but it's been a pleasure hanging out with you League of Legends fellas. Thank you, Odo. Thank you, Vedi. And thank you to all the button pushers who are about to see their big smiley faces. We are done, but it's not over. LCS are coming right onto your screens with TSM versus Immortal. today's pool party may be over, but it's just Friday. It's not that long. It really flies past. Enjoy your week. We'll see you then. More League of Legends at the LEC studio next week.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you, Odo.
See you guys.
Crunching. Come on, man.
Week 4, day 2 of the LEC. We're here in Berlin, Germany.
Oh, hey, what's up, my Flicks prentices?
Now Leader has bitten off more than he can chew. They'll immediately turn back onto the Baron, but Leader finds the kill. The shutdown there is a big one as he jumps. Leader gets 2! That is why you've got to respect this man, Zakali, but it drops to Patrick. He does the job. He stops the Baron.
XL might not even go towards this dragon here. They might just look to end the game. Oh my goodness, Crown Soul.
Oh, Maku going in.
Flexplosion!
Self-made actually jumping in. Patrick is coming through, and immediately Advian locked up. They're looking for the first kill. Patrick is there. First blood for Gwen. SLT on the menu. Oh, no, it's happening again. Oh my God, you can't do it to him. There's the stopwatch. Does he buy enough time? He doesn't get the stun. He mistimes it, but he's looking for the base attack. Come on, mate. Oh! Adam here looking for the engage. You can see Buster shot away immediately. Niski's there, lands the engage onto SK, and my goodness, they have absolutely slaughtered them.
Flexplosions! Ah, they're coming.
Onto this pick. They're going straight on. Nice cast to find the kill onto Nuclear Ring.
Gonna get a fight into the bot side. Oh, there's the engage.
In staging, actually, Hylissang forced the flash, taken down very low. Surely the kill goes over to Jezu, and it does. Oh! There it is! There it is!
Flexplosions! Woo!
Promise Q, that was an aggressive flush coming out there. He gets taken down very low. Another hook trying to be sought out from Hylissang, and actually Bufo jumps forward. Hylissang death from below, and he finds the kill.
Boo, boo, back.
Cardsy remains untouched, but Trippy is there with the CC. The follow-up from Rogue is too damn clean, and Kaiser gets cut down where he stands. A bang, baby. Woo! Misfits, they're making it work. Caps on the run, Kabe in the back line. Elder Dragon doing work, burned down one by one. They have to go for it. They just have to commit reckless to have Elder Dragon. 10 seconds on Yenko. Speaky's up soon. I think they're just gonna win.